Good afternoon. We're here with Mr. Cangelosi, the owner of Blue Sky Factory. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing really well, thanks. Thanks for having us in to do the interview.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you having me on the site.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'd like to start with asking you about yourself a little bit and Blue Sky Factory, please.
Sure, yeah. So, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been pretty much my entire life. Right out of college, I was in the music industry. I started a production company for 3 years, promoting concerts, producing concerts, and partnering with other promoters. I morphed that into a touring food vending business that I did for a while. Quickly discovered that was a lot of work for not enough reward. And then I got into the internet marketing world with a web development company called 0 to 80. It's actually the first job I actually took out of college. I worked there for a year back in '99 to the end of 2000, early '01. You know, it was like the .com craze. It was just nuts back then. But myself and a gentleman named Richard Cruitt, who is also working there at the same time, we left to start Blue Sky Factory. Probably the worst time ever to start a business was March of 2001.
Right.
There was no option for raising money, and the banks wanted nothing to do with us. We were just two guys, you know, in Baltimore trying to make the dream happen, and you know, it wasn't easy. But here we are 9 years later, and you know, we've been a successfully growing, profitable company for about 7 of those 9 years. So the first 2 years were really tough. Still haven't taken any investment money. We've grown organically, kind of a bootstrap model, and you know, it's been a great ride. It's been one series of you know, one phase of growth after another. So each phase of growth of a company presents new challenges, and I love it because it's exciting. Things keep changing. And so we just, you know, we're pressing forward now.
Wow. And if you could tell me a little more about the initial stage of your company, what did that look like? What was the product like that?
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. I'll give you the brief version, but basically when we started, we were, you know, Blue Sky Factory is an email service provider, and we're a communication service provider, so we help our clients basically communicate with their base, whether it's prospects, customers. When we started, we were basically all things to anybody who wanted to write us a check. You know, we'd do web development, we would do interactive flash stuff, we would do email marketing, whatever. We quickly realized that, you know, as Richard liked to say back in the early days, you could throw a rock and hit a web firm in Baltimore. So we needed to be something that was different, kind of niched out in our own space. And so we chose email because we're passionate about it. We thought it was going to be a really big industry moving forward. A lot of people weren't doing it. If they were, it was all the unsolicited stuff. So that was back in '01, and you know, as you can see, I mean, the email industry, the ESP market has come full circle. We started as a service firm, so we didn't have technology. We didn't have a product like we do today. So you know, Richard did the product on his laptop, and I went out and sold to ad agencies and PR firms, and we hustled as hard as we could to start getting revenue in the door. And we finally landed Weber Shandwick worldwide. And our big mistake was we started with like 6 employees, which you don't need to do that, folks.
Too many?
Too many. Yeah.
Okay.
And unless you have the need for that.
Okay.
We had a big project that we got a big deposit on, so we thought we had a lot of money, but we didn't have a lot of money. So we pared back down to Richard and I, just him and I. We hustled it out. We landed Weber Shandwick worldwide, which is the world's largest PR firm, and they started giving us business. And that was where we started that's when we started to roll. We had a couple, you know, we did a couple of free projects where we did a piece for Microsoft, we did a piece for Toyota, very, very small, and like we got our logos, you know, to show that Shandwick, and they went with us and they scaled us across all their offices. And so, you know, that's when we were able to, okay, we already went through the hiring phase, so let's go slow and steady now. So it's been 1 employee at a time for the last 9 years. Since that initial, you know, we had to lay everybody off, which was no fun.
Right. And you're up to how many now about?
We're about 33 or 34 people right now.
Wow. I can relate so much to a lot of things you're talking about.
Yeah, bootstrapping is an interesting way to grow a business. It's not for the faint of heart.
No,
you know, I was 27 when I started the business, so it was a good time in my life. You know, I had not, you know, I just met my now wife. We were dating, and you know, now have a family. I understand. I can see from an entrepreneur's profile that it gets riskier as you get further in life. So I went for it, and it doesn't really matter. I'm not saying you can't do it when you're, you know, later in life. It's just, you know, for me, I had the opportune time, and without investment, it was, you know, you got to run hard.
I think about it like trudging through mud, like 4 feet of it,
Oh yeah.
and coming out of it eventually.
Yeah, we were up for our waist in it for a while.
Okay. Okay. I guess the next question is, what do you attribute your success to?
I attribute my success, really to the team I built, at Blue Sky Factory. I mean, I couldn't do any of the things I'm doing today without the people that work for Blue Sky Factory. So, and I think any good entrepreneur would tell you that you're only as good as the people that you have working for you. And here at Blue Sky, we don't like we hire very slowly. It's a long process,
Okay.
and several interviews, and it's got to be the right team fit because 9 years into it now, we kind of know what we're looking for, and we know who's going to fit in, we know who's going to have that work ethic and kick butt. So I've made some good decisions along the way, but at the end of the day, it's the team that's doing the heavy lifting and moving the company forward. So all I can do really is set the direction, give guidance, help out where I can, but it's the people that we have working for us.
Okay, thanks. And have you had any mentors in your life that have helped you?
Yeah, I've had a few. I have more of like advisors really
Okay.
than say mentors, because when you hear the word mentor, you think you're kind of working under somebody and they're kind of guiding you.
Okay.
I have more advisors.
Okay.
I've always kind of taken this approach of well-rounded, different people from different industries with different skills. So early on we put an advisory board together, and I still keep in touch with a lot of those people. And one of them was my friend Mary Beth Wright, who's in media up in New York. She was publisher for Family Fun magazine. Another one was J. Walter Thompson's former CEO, Burt Manning, who
Okay.
ran the Worldwide Network. He really helped me on bigger level thinking. And then Jim Slattery, who has held a number of positions here in Baltimore, as the CFO of DAP, as the CFO of Struger Brothers, as the CFO of 180s, who's now CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization down in Atlanta. He's now went from CFO to CEO, but he's really seen a lot of things and helped me on the finance side, and making smart decisions about everything from leasing out our office space to what I should be thinking about 3 to 5 years from now. So I try to surround myself with those people. My only advice there would be if you have one, use one. And I should eat my own dog food, but I don't get together with these folks enough. It's more about ad hoc phone calls and what. It's really good to also get them in the room together,
Okay.
and sit them around the table, and actually then bounce your numbers off them, bounce your plans off them, kind of like a board of directors.
Right.
Fortunately, we don't operate off the board of directors because I am the board of directors here at Blue Sky Factory.
Right.
So I try to surround myself with other smart people who I can bounce business decisions off of. And you have to get out of your business sometimes, So if you're always working, I have great partners in my business. We have a great management team, but it's good to get an outside, objective perspective on things.
Okay. Okay.